Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents. The days of putting Americans last, of kowtowing to large corporations, of caving to woke ideology are over.
This is my video update on this Monday morning, January the 22nd. Let's talk about some news on a very, very windy Monday morning. So let's start off with how about the terror attack against on the food market in Donetsk, in the Russian-controlled side of Donetsk, where I believe missiles were used, rockets or missiles were used to hit a food market. 27 people killed, civilians, people selling their food, their produce, grandmothers selling their food and produce, people going out and shopping on a Sunday morning. I actually did an update on this this terror attack, and that's what this is. It's a terror attack. There is no military significance to actually hitting this area in Donetsk. The Ukraine military, obviously, they targeted this civilian food market in Donetsk, and I did an update on this terror attack on our locals page, theduran.locals.com. It was an afternoon video update. So I'll put a link to that video down below in the description box. If you are interested to check it out, you can watch videos for free on Locals if you join our Locals channel. So I did an update on what happened yesterday, and what I want to talk about very quickly today is how even the collective West media is reporting that this was a Ukraine shelling of this area in Donetsk, which resulted in 27 people being killed. This is according to Reuters. Ukraine shelling of Russian-controlled city of Donetsk kills 27. Officials say 27 people were killed and 25 injured when Ukrainian forces shelled the Russian-controlled city of Donetsk in eastern Ukraine. Denis Pushilin, the Russian-appointed head of the Donetsk region, said on Sunday. So they add that qualifier, which is that this is what Denis Pushilin said, that it was Ukrainian shelling. Obviously, it was Ukrainian shelling, even though there are some very deranged and disturbed people on social media, mostly on Twitter, Twitter X, who are actually running with the narrative that Russia shelled this food market in Russian-controlled Donetsk. They're actually claiming that this was a Russian shelling. And there are quite a few accounts on Twitter X from the pro-Ukraine side of things, which claim that this was a Russian attack. The UN has also condemned the attacks, but the UN stops short of specifically blaming Ukraine. Of course, they will not blame Ukraine. They called it a barbaric terrorist act. They're not allowed to blame Ukraine because the United States doesn't let them blame Ukraine. It's very interesting, the UN. They're taking an interesting side when it comes to the conflict in Israel and Gaza. But when it comes to the conflict in Ukraine, even to this day, even with an attack as obvious as this one, they still can't get around to saying Ukraine did it. So that is the update on this this attack at this food market. And let's now move on and talk about palace intrigue in Kiev. We've got some palace intrigue going on. So it's so ironic, isn't it ironic? Don't you think? it's like it's like rain on your wedding day, but oh man, it's ironic that that the collective West media and the entire collective West, they're constantly trying to push some sort of palace intrigue in Russia and going on in the Kremlin. But the fact is that we have a whole bunch of palace intrigue actually unfolding in Kiev. And basically, let me sum it up. Let me try to sum up the Mean Girls high school disputes that are taking place in Kiev. Let's see here. Elensky hates Zaluzhny. Zaluzhny hates Elensky. There are rumors that Elensky is about to or has already fired Zaluzhny. But there are also rumors that Elensky is afraid to fire Zaluzhny because Zaluzhny still has widespread support among the military and a lot of the top command of the military. The rumor is that Budanov is going to be appointed as the new commander of the Ukrainian armed forces. Now, Budanov, I believe Budanov hates everyone, but the CIA loves Budanov, and Budanov loves himself. But the CIA, they absolutely love Budanov. So I wouldn't be surprised if the CIA got its way and Budanov has been appointed as the commander of the entire Ukraine armed forces. But these are still rumors. Klitschko, with each passing day, the mayor of Kiev is showing his hatred for Elensky. He does not like Elensky, Klitschko. Poroshenko is also showing his dislike of Elensky. There are rumors saying that there are many people in the halls of power in Kiev that would like to see Poroshenko come back to power. Now, Klitschko and Poroshenko, they get along and they support each other. Timoshenko, she hates everyone, but she also makes it seem like she loves everyone. So she plays both sides. But Timoshenko would love to come to power, no doubt about it. And what else? And I think that's it. I think that's the palace intrigue in Kiev. Poroshenko, by the way, does not like Elensky. He despises Elensky. So yeah, this is what's going on in Kiev at the moment. Basically, no one likes anybody, and everyone wants to come to power. But Klitschko, he gave an interview to Canadian mainstream media, the Globe and Mail. Is the Globe and Mail mainstream media? I imagine it is. And Klitschko, he told the Globe and Mail that he worries that Ukraine is becoming authoritarian. Kiev's mayor worries Ukraine under Elensky is becoming increasingly autocratic. This is according to Klitschko, and here is what Klitschko said. Objective, true information is very important to society, and a monopoly on information, I guess, is not good. He also said that a significant part of Ukrainian society doesn't understand exactly what happens on the front lines, since the show highlights Ukrainian military successes while downplaying the setbacks. Klitschko also said that the movement, what we see right now, I can't say it's democracy. It smells of authoritarianism. He added that some people within the government wish everything to be centralized and seek to consolidate power in their hands. Klitschko didn't name anybody specifically, and he stated that he cannot say their names. But we all know that he's talking about Elensky and the Elensky regime. So Klitschko is saying that things are looking mighty authoritarian in Kiev because there is a centralization of power. Klitschko said in the interview that Elensky is just appointing people to local positions where these should be elected officials. The Elensky regime is just picking people and appointing whoever they wish to whatever local positions they want to secure. So, yeah. Klitschko, the man who took part in the Maidan coup to overthrow an internationally recognized, democratically elected government. Whatever you may think of that government, it was internationally recognized as being democratically elected. Klitschko, the mayor of Kiev, who participated in this coup. Victoria Nuland even talked about Klitschko, and at one time they were even kicking around the idea of having Klitschko become the president of Ukraine, but they opted to not appoint Klitschko and instead go with Yatsenyuk. But this is the guy that is now talking about authoritarianism and democracy and the centralization of power. Bro, Klitschko, you were a great heavyweight boxer. One of the best. But politics, man, and your understanding of history, well, recent history, not so good. Not so good. You reap what you sow, Klitschko. But yeah, he is talking about the authoritarian nature of the Elensky regime. Democracy being lost in Ukraine. This is coming from a man who was taking part in the 2014 coup. So the Financial Times, they had an article, a fluff piece on Kirill Budanov. And it looks like sooner or later Budanov is going to be the man who is going to head up the armed forces of Ukraine. That's the way things look, though. Who knows? Maybe Zelensky's support is much stronger than anyone had anticipated, but the Financial Times, they're really building up Budanov in this fluff piece. And Alexander did a good breakdown on his video yesterday on the myth that is AI android robot Budanov. And it looks like the Financial Times, they're putting out this profile of Budanov in anticipation of Budanov being handed control of the Ukraine armed forces. So they're kind of introducing the world to Budanov, and they paint a picture of a very, very mysterious, confident figure who likes to operate in the dark. His entire office, according to the Financial Times, is in the dark. The lights are always dimmed, and he travels around with huge security forces because the Russians are out to get him, and he's this elusive mastermind spy chief. And that's the image that they paint of Budanov. He was injured many times in combat operations, according to the Financial Times. They say he broke his neck and his back, but they don't say exactly where or how he suffered these injuries. And Alexander noted in his video yesterday that perhaps these injuries were sustained a few months ago in some missile strike at the intelligence headquarters in Kiev, where it was rumored that Budanov was injured very badly in this missile strike. So maybe he incurred those injuries during that missile strike. Who knows? Maybe he got injured during some other operations. But yeah, the Financial Times, it looks like they're building up Budanov for something very important. And a viewer of the Duran in this channel sent me an email yesterday, and he came up with an interesting point with regards to Budanov. It would make sense that the CIA start to really build up Budanov and perhaps give him more power as the CIA perhaps begins to shift from an actual war with Russia, understanding that they've lost the conflict with Russia, the actual war with Russia. They begin to shift from a military war to a type of guerrilla war, an insurgency type of conflict with a lot of sabotage activities and operations like that, terror activities and sabotage activities and things like that. And it would make sense if Budanov becomes the guy to head up this shift in fighting. So that's an interesting point about Budanov. It is so windy. Wow, feels like I'm getting swept away by the wind. Wow, very windy. I hope the audio turns out all right. So yeah, that's the Financial Times is reporting on Budanov. Palace intrigue in Kiev. Lots of palace intrigue in Kiev. It's hard to keep track of it all. So the European Union, they're panicking about getting money to the Elensky regime, and the EU, they have now come up with another scheme to get 23 billion into the coffers of the Elensky regime. It's windy. It's not cold, but it's not warm. But you know, that dude is showering right back there. He brought his soap and everything. Oh man, he came prepared. Take his Monday morning shower. So yeah, the EU has created a fund, right? They always create the funds, and this is an old fund that they're an old fund idea that they're kind of resurrecting, to be quite honest. And it's an offshoot of what's the name of this fund? The European Peace Fund. Basically what the EU is doing is that they are going to create a fund, and they're hoping to get 22 billion in weapons to Project Ukraine. And the way they're going to do this is they're going to compensate EU member states for their purchasing of weapons, and they'll give them money from this European Peace Fund, as long as the EU member states, they get together and they all buy weapons, they procure weapons together, they send them to Ukraine, and then they get compensated from this $22 billion peace fund. The Wall Street Journal, they have an article with the title, EU tackles new 22 billion plan to boost Ukraine military aid. New plan aims to direct billions of euros at joint military procurement for Ukraine. So another slush fund, another washing machine fund from the EU. And you know, this money is, well, it's not going to be money sent to Ukraine. It'll be weapons sent to Ukraine. But this money is just basically about paying the MIC and then, of course, 10% for all the big guys in the European Union, right? That's basically what this is all about. Ah, boy. The washing machine activity is in overdrive. It will not stop as long as Project Ukraine is going on. And when Project Ukraine ends, they'll find a new project to keep that washing machine spinning. So this is the new plan hatched by the EU, which is really an old plan. They had this idea like 6 months ago, and it didn't happen. This was they were going to do this with ammunition. That's right. It was for 1,155 shells of ammo, and if the EU member states were able to produce this ammunition or give from their own inventory to Ukraine, that they would get compensated from this European Peace Fund. I love the name that they use. It's the Peace Fund. It's all about weapons, purchasing weapons, but they call it the Peace Fund. Orwellian. But yeah, they were doing this with ammunition. Now it looks like they're just going to do this with any weapons. Just whatever. Just buy weapons. EU member states come together, buy weapons, sign contracts with MIC companies, and we'll compensate you. And you know that the contracts they're going to sign, this is how it always goes. The contracts that they're going to sign with the MIC companies are going to be super inflated, right? So like if a fighter jet, no, let's not use a fighter jet. If a Leopard tank costs, let's just say, in actuality costs 500,000 euros, the MIC, they're going to make sure that they sell it to the EU at 1 million euros, right? What did I say, 500,000 euros? Yeah, I'm using very simple numbers. So say a tank costs 500,000 euros. That's what it really does cost. Well, the MIC company, they'll sell it to the EU at 1 million or 2 million, you know? And of course, they're going to buy it and they'll get compensated. And that's how these schemes always go. It's a sophisticated type of corruption. It's not even that sophisticated, to be quite honest. It's pretty blatant and pretty out there. Oh boy. So, since we're on the topic of the EU and Project Ukraine, a couple of countries are losing their minds over how Project Ukraine is going. One of those countries is Lithuania. Lithuania is going mad. The political class of Lithuania is going mad. And the foreign minister came out with a couple of tweets yesterday. And he basically said that the collective West and the European Union, they need to get serious about funding Project Ukraine and getting weapons to Ukraine. As if they weren't serious for the past 2 years by emptying out all of their military stockpiles and sending their economies into recession. Obviously, that wasn't serious enough for the Lithuanian foreign minister. And he uses the example of Poland and how Poland is procuring a ton of weapons, mostly from the United States, HIMARS and tanks and all kinds of stuff. And he says, look at what Poland is doing, and look at all the weapons that they're procuring, like 1,000 tanks and 1,000 HIMARS. And we need to give the same over to Ukraine, to the Elensky regime. Here's what he tweeted out. Gabrielis Landsbergis. We need to change our strategy from as long as it takes to whatever victory takes. So what would victory take? Let's compare Poland's recent procurements to the amount of equipment the world has given Ukraine. Yeah, so he has these nice charts and he shows all of these weapons. And he actually got a community note on this tweet. And the community note was like, dude, the world has given Ukraine like 1,000 tanks already. And they've all been destroyed. And hundreds of HIMARS, thousands of missiles and ammunition, and it's all been destroyed by the Russian military. So what are you talking about, Foreign Minister of Lithuania? So he actually got community noted from as long as it takes to whatever victory takes. That's the new one, huh? He's trying to get the new slogan out there, the Foreign Minister of Lithuania. It's no longer as long as it takes. It's Whatever victory takes. Whatever victory takes. That is the new slogan, according to the Lithuanian foreign minister and the Lithuanian economy minister. She said that citizens of Lithuania, they need to stop saving their money. They need to stop putting their money in socks. This is what the economy minister said. Stop saving your money underneath your bed mattress. Stop hiding it in your socks and start investing in tanks. In tanks, the economy minister said. There are ways, for example, to borrow money from residents for military spending. Armonayet, the economy minister stated, while stressing that citizens should not expect substantial returns on any investments. I have heard criticism of the idea of such bonds, but there is a lot of money that people still have. Maybe it's better stop keeping it in a sock, but invest in a tank, she added. They would like nothing more than to come after your money and to invest it in the MIC, in the military companies, which is an investment to them. It's an investment to them, actually, to the political class. Whenever you invest in the military, it's actually about giving money to the political class as well. So yeah, she's like, the economy minister of Lithuania is like, stop saving your money. We know you got money. We know you got money. There's still some money left, she said. There's still some money somewhere lying around there. Give it over to us and invest in tanks. And if we take a 10% cut, that's all good too. Saying the quiet part out loud. They are coming after your money. And France is also losing its mind over Project Ukraine. The new foreign minister, who is the ex-husband, I believe the ex-husband of the new prime minister of France, well, he came out with a statement and said, and I quote, if Ukraine loses 30% of world exports, will fall under Russian control, putting French wheat under threat on international markets. He said, adding that financial aid is highly important for Ukraine's President Elensky, as he needs to show his people that he is still supported. Now, why would he need to show his people that he is still supported? I thought Elensky was Churchill. I thought he was loved by everybody. Are you telling me, Mr. Foreign Minister of France, that Elensky is not loved by everybody? Is that what you're telling us? Freaking out about how if Ukraine loses, then Russia's going to control 30% of wheat exports. 30% of world exports is what this quote says, but I think it means 30% of the world's wheat exports is what the French foreign minister is trying to say. He's very worried about Russia having such control over wheat and grain. Yeah, that would be bad for France, because given everything that France has done and is doing in this war against Russia, well, Russia just might decide to, I don't know, not sell that wheat to France. I don't know, maybe. Or maybe they'll jack the price up to the French companies looking to buy that wheat, to the French government looking to buy that wheat from Russia. I don't know, maybe. As Russia gives it away to many countries in Africa for free. So the Sunday Times, the UK Sunday Times, they came out with an article claiming that Ukraine's average soldier is 43 years old. And the Sunday Times asks, how can they keep Putin at bay? Some volunteers who sign up at the beginning of the war with Russia are mentally and physically exhausted, and there is a lack of younger fighters to replace them. That's coming from the Sunday Times. 43 years old is what they claim is the average age. I've heard 45, I've heard 48. There definitely is a consensus that the average age of fighters is well over 40. So the Sunday Times, in this article, they say the average age of a soldier in my battalion is 45, said Dmytro Berim, a commander with Ukraine's 32nd Brigade. At that age, it's hard to fulfill tasks. For some, even carrying ammunition and body armor to the front line positions is tough. Is this how they're going to win the war? Is this how the Ukraine military is going to win this war? Is this how they're going to launch another counteroffensive in 2025 towards Melitopol and Crimea using 45-year-old men? Is this for real? Are they being serious here? Telling us that 2025 is going to be the year where Ukraine launches another offensive into Crimea, but the soldiers, they're gonna have an average age of 45 years old. Well, in 2025 they'll be 46, right? So, yeah, that is the Times, the UK Times, and the Times actually hints at a demographic collapse that is shaping up as well in Ukraine. They say the dominance of older soldiers in Ukraine's army reflects a demographic crisis that could have serious implications for the country's post-war recovery. The average life expectancy of a Ukrainian man in 2023 and 24 is anticipated to be just 57 years old, while for women it is 70. So a very bleak outlook for Ukraine, as highlighted in this article from the UK Sunday Times. How are we doing on time here? Oof. Let's wrap this video up. Ukraine's Air Force spokesman, he came out with a statement and he said that Ukraine cannot hide weapons from Russia. He said there's no sense in storing weapons in Ukraine or storing large amounts of weapons in Ukraine because the Russians find them and destroy them. The Air Force spokesman admitted that it made little sense to place entire ammunition depots in Ukraine since Russian intelligence was effective at identifying such locations. This was also true for F-16 fighter jets, he stated, asking, will they just arrive here and become a good target for the enemy? We cannot take a huge number of missiles, Ignat said, the Air Force spokesman, commenting on stockpiles for air defense systems. One has to store them somewhere and the enemy will know about it sooner or later. So the Air Force spokesman is saying that the Russians, inevitably, they find the weapons and they destroy them. So how are you going to build weapons facilities and weapons factories? What is all this talk about Ukraine becoming the Silicon Valley of military production? Try to make sense of that. When you have the Air Force spokesman saying that Russia finds whatever weapons we have stored in large quantities and they obliterate them. So what do you think they're going to do to weapons facilities and weapons production plants and factories? All right, so that is what the Air Force spokesman said. And we had the deputy defense minister. He came out and said that when Russia loses and capitulates to Elensky, one of the terms in Russia's capitulation is that they're going to have to give up their nuclear weapons. This is what the deputy defense minister said. The conflict in Ukraine can only end with a complete liberation and restoration of its 1991 borders. Kiev's deputy defense minister Ivan Gavriluk told the newspaper Der Tagesspiegel last week. Only then Moscow and the pro-Kiev coalition will be able to sign a document to create preventative mechanisms so that Russia will never think about another war against Ukraine or any country in the future. This document must include Russia's renunciation of nuclear weapons because it poses a threat to the world, Gavriluk claimed. Yeah. The worse this war goes for the Elensky regime, the more delusional Elensky's top officials become. Yeah, good luck with that one. Russia giving up its nuclear weapons. Yeah. Like that's going to happen. Like Russia's capitulation is going to happen. This is all just delusional stuff. Delusional thinking. So that is the statement from the Deputy Defense Minister of Ukraine. Let's now do a clown world. Yeah, I got to wrap this video up. Let's do a clown world here. Wolfgang's Steakhouse. And we have Guava, the Guava Club. Is this Jungle Joseph Borrell's nightclub? Is this his nightclub, or is this the garden? Is this Jungle Joseph's garden nightclub? Let's do a clown world and we'll wrap this video up. And for this clown world, I have some bad news for all the ladies out there. Some very, very bad news. And it has to do with Hot Houthi Pirate. Hot Houthi Pirate has been kicked off of TikTok. Hot Houthi Pirate banned from TikTok. TikTok bans Yemeni heartthrob after his videos go viral. This is according to, I believe this is Mint Press. So they have canceled Hot Houthi Pirate. Yep, he has been canceled. Well, at least, ladies, at least you still have Pirate Schultz. At least you still have Pirate Schultz. He is a heartbreaker, Pirate Schultz. All right, that is the video, everybody. Let me see if I have any more clown worlds here. How about this one? Philippines president takes helicopter to Coldplay concert, sparks row. So Marcos Jr., he took a helicopter to watch the Coldplay concert, and 40,000 people in attendance, and his security detail said that it's very dangerous for him to go to the indoor arena where this concert was taking place. It would be a security risk with so many people, and so they decided to helicopter him into the Coldplay concert. And people are upset about that. It's a waste of taxpayer money to helicopter the leader of the Philippines to a Coldplay concert. There was a Coldplay music video where Chris Martin, like a cartoon figure of Chris Martin, is actually helicoptering into a concert. I forgot the name of the song, but I remember that video. Anyway, that is this video, theduran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop. Pick up a hoodie. 15% off all t-shirts. Take care.